What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live as we count down to Monday Night Football, the last game of Week 9. I, of course, am the coach. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting. It's all about the information. And right now, we're going through kind of a topsy-turvy couple of weeks in the NFL, but we will continue to move forward. You got to stay the course. Now, here's what we're going to do on tonight's show. For those of you who are brand new to the Early Edge, we want to be as completely interactive as possible. Every time you give me something in the chat, leave your Twitter handle. When we get to 200 likes tonight, I will give away 2 year-long memberships to SportsLine. There is no value on that. 400 will do 4, 600 will do 6, and then 800, we will give away the very elusive Coach action figure that is of myself, courtesy of Prop Stars. So we do the sides, we do the totals, we do as many props as we possibly can get to over the course of the next 45 minutes to an hour. All right, you know, on our evening shows that I bring in the heavy hitters. I bring in the rock stars of SportsLine, the rock stars of the Early Edge. So let's bring in the stars of the show. And oh my goodness, look at the I don't even know. But this is where I'm going to start because I'm anxious to hear why in the world Alex is wearing a bag over his head. Mr. Prop Stars, please explain yourself.
I lost my first showdown yesterday to you, Coach, to AB. One of the most shameful moments of my life. I've had that bag on all day long. My wife won't talk to me. The cats are ignoring me. It has been a rough day in the Prop Stars household.
I got to be honest with you. When my email, I had my notifications turned on for my Venmo, especially for you. And a few hours ago when it went bring, and all of a sudden it said, Alex paid you. Oh, that was a glorious moment. AB, how was that for you?
It was fantastic. And the best part was, me and you both said, watch out for Deontay Foreman, who ended up leading the Titans in rushing yards last night. So, yeah, you know what? Hey, tip of the cap to you, Prop Stars. You're a man of your word. Well done.
The last thing I'm ever going to do is brag about beating the GOAT. I told him before we came on the air, I said, I'm going to retire at 1-0 because it's never going to get better than that for me. I know that to be true. Now, a man that I've never beaten in a SportsLine showdown is my man wearing the Early Edge hat tonight, and I've had to pay him several times. M Squared, what's good?
Not much, Coach. I'm looking forward to that next one too. Those Coach bucks, they spend extra nice. I will tell you that.
I hate when you grind me, but I love it secretly. And of course, he's the best-looking man on the show. We call him Sia. You see him all over DFS and everything that you want at SportsLine and CBS. Sia, welcome back to your show, sir.
Thank you for having me. And I got to say, I'm 1-0 on Showdown as of last week, thanks to me taking the dog in the Giants. So Alan paid me. In fact, he wanted to pay me before the game was even over. So that was kind of cool. He paid me right
cannot do that because you never know. You never know. You have to wait. You have to wait. But see, it kind of felt good, right? Like Mikey said, it feels better when it's one of our money that we're getting instead of getting it from a book. It just feels a little bit better.
True. And you know, Alan was super fun about it, and he had a little note in the Venmo, which was hilarious. So it's not really about the money at that point. It's just like fun to win a bet, and it's fun when everybody's having fun, whether you're on the winning or losing side of it.
Amen, brother. I usually write, I am an idiot. It's usually when I lose.
That's what he wrote.
Yeah.
That's what he wrote.
All right, we had a lot of fun tonight. The Bears and the Steelers, and this is another one of those games that maybe on paper like, but so many different opportunities. The Steelers have won 3 straight since starting the year 1-3. The Bears, they do have 3 wins. Will their defense come to play tonight? The under seems to be the play, but there's so many different things that we need to talk about. But boys, you know the Early Edge is going worldwide, and we actually have soldiers on the ground in Pittsburgh. Jeweler, show the picture that one of our incredible fans posted just a few minutes ago in Heinz Field, ready for the game tonight, and then promoted SportsLine and the Early Edge in the picture. I would say that is glorious. Wouldn't you guys say that's pretty nice? Pretty nice?
Love it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for including us in that. And he's always in the chat, that man right there. So we want everybody to feel like they're a part of SportsLine and Early Edge, and you exactly do that. So let's get into talking about the game, and then in about 10 minutes, we'll do our official picks. Then around 40 after, we'll do Prop It Like It's Hot. We'll get to as many props as humanly possible, and also a little giveaway, courtesy of the bosses, coming up in about 20 minutes. But, Sia, let me come to you, because tonight on paper, when you look at the numbers, since the start of 2019, the Bears are 0-7 as the underdog of 6 points or more. 4-13 against the spread versus teams that made the playoffs the previous season. Everything leans towards the Steelers. How are you feeling about the 7-point spread?
I'm buying into the lean towards the Steelers. You know, everybody knows on this show, I always try to commit to the underdog if I can. I don't like taking the favorite because it's usually a square play. I mean, I shouldn't say all the time, but more often than not, it's a square play. People like to bet favorites. I just don't really see. I understand that we have a low total here and that a 7-point spread versus a low total isn't necessarily the best scenario. I'm just trying to figure out how Justin Fields moves the ball against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's so green right now. Honestly, I think most of these rookie quarterbacks should not be playing in year one, maybe not even in year two. That's a different subject for a different time. But then you add to that they have key injuries on defense with Khalil Mack. I don't know if Eddie Jackson has been declared out yet, if inactives have come out, but I don't think he's playing either. And the way the Steelers have been moving the ball over the last few games, it's not like there's some powerful offense, but they're getting a little bit better and better. They're scoring more points. They're obtaining more yards. I just feel like it's at Heinz Field. I mean, Justin Fields walking into Heinz Field with the gameplay that he's exhibited over the first half of the season, it's not a good recipe. So I'm all over the Steelers this week.
Now, Mikey, last night you were on the under, and it cashed in Sunday Night Football. Despite the 2 touchdowns in, 17 seconds for the Titans, it still cashed. When you look at the number that Sia just talked about, these two teams have the lowest totals of the entire year, 2 of the top 4 teams. Would you lean under? Because everything screams under tonight.
I actually don't. I have this one up to 41 points, so I'm not leaning towards the under. I have a slight lean on the over, so there's a couple things that I'm concerned about here. Number one, the Pittsburgh Steelers, if Ben is throwing the ball well, they still have a number of weapons, and Najee Harris can break one at any time. But really, I think that it's such a high variance spot with these 2 quarterbacks against what we still presume to be pretty solid or above average defenses. Big Ben can easily make turnovers, get sacked, create shorter fields for the other side. And then same thing with Justin Fields forcing the ball if he's not able to run with his legs, if they're not having any success with David Montgomery. So I think there'll be enough turnovers in this game to create short fields that I'm very nervous about that total at the number of 40. 41 is a relatively key number in the NFL. It's actually the most popular total in the league over the course of the history of the league. So I'm not touching the total on this one. I actually have a slight lean towards the over in it, though, in this game.
Very good. We love your algorithm, and people love all of you. Excuse me. George just wrote, these pregame live streams are by far the best part of my Monday and Thursday evenings. Thanks, gang, for making commuting exponentially better. Oh, there's nothing like going from downtown in a big city out into the suburbs. But you got us for a whole hour as you're riding in your car. AB, let me come to you next, because when you look at the Steelers and the fact that they have won 3 straight, and Sia just said it, they're playing a little bit better. Big Ben's playing a little bit better. But the way the games have gone this weekend, Jacksonville, the Giants, need I go on and on? It's been an upside down. The Broncos. Doesn't it feel like maybe this could be the Titans last night, could be the cherry on top tonight with the Bears maybe shocking the world?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a game where just whatever you think can't happen, bet that. Like, that's what's going to happen, right? I'll say this. This is a game that is going to be decided at the line of scrimmage, okay? So you look at the Chicago Bears. They've allowed 30 sacks this season. That's the most in the NFL, and 4 more than the next highest team. However, the Pittsburgh Steelers only blitz 21% of the time on dropbacks, the 10th lowest in the NFL. So if Pittsburgh can get to Chicago and Justin Fields without bringing a rush, that is going to be massive for the Steelers defense. If they can't, and Justin Fields can get around and move and not only use his legs, but use his arm. Remember, last week, he had his best statistical game of his career. He completed 70% of his passes, right? So I think that this game on both sides is going to be dictated at the line of scrimmage. Watch that early, because that's going to tell you who's going to be able to win this game.
Very good. We have hit 200 likes. I need you guys to put your Twitter handles into the chat so we can pick two different people that will get a year-long membership to SportsLine for free. Alex, let me come to you. And you look much better with the bag off of your head. Let me just say that. Now, when you look at how you handicap this game from a props perspective and what Justin Fields did a week ago, and he had 10 carries for over 100 yards. How did you handicap this game where offenses could be a little bit handicapped tonight?
Yeah, I've been looking at it from all various angles. While the Steelers have certainly been playing better the last 3 weeks, they've obviously won 3 games in a row. Justin Fields is quietly playing a lot better. He's combined for 200 yards rushing, or close to 200 yards rushing over the last 3 games. He's starting to finally using his legs more. It's starting to open up Chicago's offense a lot more. We've also seen it correlate to his passing numbers improve as well. He's become a more accurate thrower of the football over the last 3 games. So yeah, I've actually been encouraged by Justin Fields. He looks better and better each start, more and more comfortable. Nagy's starting to take the shackles off of him a little bit and allowing him to improvise and to run outside of the pocket and to create plays or yardage with his legs. So yeah, I actually think that the Bears can keep up in this game and stay competitive.
All right, very good. All right, I see everybody over in that chat. D, Levi, Tony, you're all smashing that like button. Kevin, Sean, Jack, D, Lev, Levi again, Tony. Oh, we got tons of people watching tonight, and you all love my man. See ya. See, I'm going to come back to you, because when you look at two teams that are 3-5 against the spread, 3-4 against the spread, that means they're very, very inconsistent. Does that throw pause to you on either side of the fence tonight?
Not really. I mean, just typically, I just assess it game to game, and it's just a case by case basis. And to me, it's all about trajectory. I mean, if you tell me a team didn't cover 7 weeks ago, it really doesn't matter to me if I'm seeing a trend in the last 3 weeks. So, I mean, That's really what I'm focused on here. I agree about Justin Fields. There certainly is a trend there. I mean, you could talk about whether that game against the San Francisco 49ers is going to be an outlier this year in terms of his rushing yards and his just overall potential, or whether that's going to be the norm. I tend to think it's going to be an outlier. But what I know is that it's hard to play at Heinz Field for anybody, particularly a rookie QB. It's hard to play without 2 of your superstar defensive players, and Eddie Jackson, who, by the way, has been officially declared out, and Khalil Mack. And as bad as the offensive line is for Pittsburgh, the Bears' offensive line is worse, and the Bears aren't going to be creating a lot of pressure. And by the way, Khalil Mack is pretty good against the run. I mean, people think of him as a pass rusher, but he's pretty good against the run. So there's just too many missing pieces overall for the Bears. So, I mean, the trend itself doesn't really impact me. It's just I'm looking at what I see right now. And what I see is a Pittsburgh team that's slightly above average and a Bears team that's below average, led by a rookie QB. One final note, those upsets that we've seen, none of them have been led by a guy as green as Justin Fields, except for Jacksonville, who, by the way, only scored 9 points against, I don't even know. Was that Josh Allen? I'm not even sure that was the actual Josh Allen.
I don't know. Oh,
so my point is, a lot of these teams that are pulling the upsets, they have some experience at the quarterback position. They might be backups like Colt McCoy, but Colt McCoy is a very, very much a veteran presence, a good backup quarterback. So I'm not really buying into the narrative of yesterday as it applies to today.
I tell you what, I think this year more than any other year that we've seen that if you don't have a good backup quarterback, then you are dead in the water, because so many starters have got hurt. So, Mikey, let me come back to you. When you look at Justin Fields and how he's been playing, you've heard the other guys talk about it, and the way that Mac Jones has been playing as a rookie, do you think he should have been handed the reins, or should he be on the bench?
In this particular situation, I mean, once Dalton was hurt for a little second, I think it's okay that he got in there. I understand why he's playing, though, just the fan pressure. It's obviously a lot when they're not going to be winning football games with the option that they had. But I generally am in the camp that I think that they should wait a full year in most cases. It still needs to be treated on a case-by-case basis, though. So I don't have any issues with him being in there playing. Obviously, Mac Jones is, in my opinion, ready to go. He's been fantastic. What I'm interested with Fields is to see how he looks tonight and going forward, because he's getting close. You know, just like Mac Jones, they do tend to look a little better every week as they get more reps. So we'll see. This is a tough environment for him, though. I think he'll answer a lot of our questions tonight. even he doesn't have to win the game, frankly. If he can cover the spread, if he can keep this game within 7 points, that it's a really, really, really good showing for him in a very tough environment. So as far as should he be out there, I think in this particular case, he probably should. But generally speaking, I don't think that rookies should be starting every game early.
All right, here's a little nugget. I feel like AB throwing this nugget out there. Rookie quarterbacks at Heinz Field against Big Ben, 1-12. 1-12 against Big Ben at Heinz Field. All right, let's continue to pound that like button. We have nearly 700 watching live right now. Really big number and less than 300 likes. Just take 2 seconds. Throw up that like, and then take down the comments, put up the like, and then put the comments back up. Here's our first 2 winners, at K_Halstead 2012 and at GVOD 2 up, 2 down G. The jeweler will reach out to you on social media and give you all the details. You'll have access to SportsLine for an entire year. By the way, Levi, thank you very much in the chat. You said you're already a winner. If you win, you'd like to donate it to somebody else. That's the kind of teamwork that I'm talking about here at the Early Edge. All right, we are past the bottom of the hour, so you know what time that is. It's time for our official picks on the show. And I'm going to change it up a little bit tonight. I'm going to go to Alex first. Alex, do you have an official play in the game tonight? Talk to me.
I do. I also have a lean. I will start with my official play. That is Chase Claypool under 4.5 receptions. Ben Roethlisberger has completed 25.8% of his passes of 20 yards or more. That is the second lowest rate in the league. Only Jared Goff has been worse on downfield throws. Roethlisberger's arm is pretty much shot, and he's produced just some incredibly inaccurate throws. Claypool is running primarily all of his routes down the field. He is a very good receiver, but Ben Roethlisberger is not the quarterback to have opposite of him or to throw to him. It just is not a good pairing there at all. Pittsburgh's offense is predicated on quick, short passes to Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth. The Roethlisberger's downfield woes are just really capping Chase Claypool's upside, in my opinion. He's only cleared this total in 2 of 6 games this season. It required him getting a massive target share in both games in order for him to clear it. Also, since Juju Smith-Schuster was placed on IR, everyone anticipated Claypool having a bump in targets, and that hasn't happened whatsoever. He's actually had less targets with Juju off the field. He's averaging just over 5 targets per game without Juju. He's got 16 targets over the last 3 games. So, yeah, that is not good whatsoever. Chicago is an above-average secondary. They rank 13th in passing DVOA as well. They are a pass funnel to the opposing number 1 receiver. So, yeah, I'm not expecting Claypool to have to be heavily involved in this game plan. I think Deontay Johnson is going to be a primary target for Roethlisberger. I also think we're going to see a heavy dose of Najee Harris. I also think this play correlates to the fact that Pittsburgh is a 7-point favorite. I don't anticipate them having to throw the ball a ton, coupled with just Ben Roethlisberger not being able to drive the ball downfield whatsoever. So, yeah, that is not good for Claypool. I love this prop under 4.5 receptions. The other play I have...
Let me jump in real quick before you give the other one. My book has it juiced to 155, and somebody in the chat said theirs is 156. Would you still play it at that juice?
I would.
All right,
I'd play it up to around 160.
Boom.
So, yeah, that's significant of an edge in my opinion. And, yeah, the other prop I have is a lean. This is TJ Watt. I've never given out an IDP. Shout out to the guy who's at the Steelers game, the SportsLine fan. He actually tipped me off on this play. Dustin, okay. What's up, buddy? So, yeah, this is TJ Watt over, and make sure you listen to this part, 2.5 solo tackles. I saw this at -115 on DraftKings. This is not solo tackles and assists. This is just solo tackles. TJ Watt has hit this in 6 of 6 games this season. He has 10 tackles over the past 10 games. He's had at least 3 solo tackles in every single start this season. This is just this line should have been set at 3.5. That's why I have it as a lean. It's an IDP. I don't typically give those out, but yeah, this is a really good number. And if you have DraftKings, 100% worth a bet.
And we know if you're giving it out, you see a real edge there as well. A clear tackle edge, as he says. All right, AB, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, I'll tell you, Coach, you know what? I'm going to correlate with our man Prop Stars here because I think it goes hand in hand with his last one, that IDP there. 2 plays. First, we're going to go Justin Fields over 17.5 completions at +105. Here is why. The Steelers defense, they are giving up 11 rushing yards per game to opposing quarterbacks. Yeah, 11. Okay,
What?
11. They're going to make Justin Fields beat them in the air with his arm. Now, the second play we're going to go with, and I understand if not everybody wants to jump on it, it has a little bit of a risk here, but it's a fun one, and it goes along with what Prop Stars and the previous play was just saying. We're going to go total game sacks over 5.5. Justin Fields is averaging about 4 per game. You look at what we were talking about with the Bears. They've given up 30 this year, which is the most in the NFL, and this covers both teams, not just the Bears. So
Okay.
Ben Roethlisberger isn't running away from anybody. He is not afraid to go down, take a sack, and play the next game. So Justin Fields over 17.5 completions plus 105. Total game sacks over 5.5 at plus 110.
I kind of like as wacky as our week has been, having 2 defensive plays on the game tonight. That feels really good to me. It feels really good to me. By the way, there is a very smart capper in our chat, Maiden Focus. Keep your eyes on that name. I got a little surprise for you coming up in just a couple of minutes concerning Maiden Focus, who Larry Hartstein, the maestro, says is very, very sharp. That's all I'm going to tell you. All right, let's go down to Mikey. Mikey, anything official? I know we got the donkey parlay coming up in about 20 minutes, but do you have anything official on the show?
Nothing official yet. Potentially by the end of the show, but nothing official yet.
All right, very good. See ya. Do you have anything? I'm starting to smell a little something too, by the way, AB. Just stand by there. See ya. You got anything official on the show?
Oh, can't wait for that. So, yeah, I like, if you hadn't noticed, I like the Steelers -7. So that's an official play for me. I do have 2 leans, and I'll just be really quick with them. Pat Freiermuth over 3.5 receptions, I think, is a pretty solid play. It's probably juiced up a little bit to -120, -130, wherever you're looking. 7 targets over the last 2 games. He's definitely emerged as, outside of Deontay Johnson, as like kind of the other target for Ben Roethlisberger. His targets tend to be the easier ones, like we've talked about earlier in the show. What he's done with them: 7 catches out of 7 against Seattle, 4 catches out of 7 targets against the Cleveland Browns. So I think 3.5 is a pretty good number. 4, I probably wouldn't take it. I wouldn't buy into the potential push, but I think 3.5 is very fair. They'll probably try to get Ben going with some easy passes to Freiermuth. And the other lean, and I'll be super quick on this one, Darnell Mooney over 41.5 receiving yards. I really think he's the target of choice, and we know he can get downfield and probably get some yak once he catches the ball. So I think 41.5 is pretty reasonable there.
41.5 for Darnell Mooney. It kind of reminds me of what was that movie? I'm drawing an absolute blank. I'm an idiot. Never ignore the last 10 seconds of the show. All right, so that's your lean. That's your official play. Now, I will say this, because we already have one SportsLine showdown on the show, and I feel like I need to put that money that I won last night on the line tonight. So see ya. I'm asking you straight up right here on the show. Would you like to have a showdown? I'll take the Bears plus the 7.
I would love to have a showdown. Let's do this thing.
Oh, so AB, what do we need to do right now? As Ben Shepard says, what is it, Alex? Hit the music, Junior.
Cue it, baby.
Cue it.
Gonna be a showdown.
Oh, that feels so good. Oh, it feels so good. Why do I feel like I'm just... Yes, Alex, what do you have, sir?
I like both the Cia's props. I just want to point out, too, regarding the Pat Freiermuth one, Eric Ebron was ruled out. He is inactive. He is Pittsburgh's backup tight end. That, to me, further bolsters and supports Cia's play for Freiermuth. It's just going to give him that many more snaps on the field.
Boom. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, it's time to prop it like it's hot. It's that time of the show. Now, if you have any props that you like in the game tonight, put them in the chat. Put your Twitter handle. Put the juice. And we'll get to as many as we can over the course of the next 15 minutes or so. Now, I will say this. One of the bosses tweeted this out today. Jeweler, if you could put this up on the screen, continue to pound that like button as well. Let's get to 400 likes. So we have a very, very sharp person in the chat, Maiden Focus. Now, the maestro turned us on to this guy. So the brightest cappers in the chat, tell you what, like this post. So we need you to go to Twitter and like it. And if both of these hit, Najee Harris over his rushing attempts and Najee Harris touchdown tonight, then the bosses, not me, the bosses will give away a free year-long sub to a lucky viewer on Tuesday's show who liked this post and also send a t-shirt, early edge t-shirt to the same person. That's the first time we've ever done anything like this. So go to Twitter, find that, like it. Najee Harris has to go over 19.5 rushing attempts, and he has to score a touchdown tonight as well for those two bets to hit. Alex, do you like those two plays?
I do. In fact, yeah, I especially like that Najee touchdown plus Steelers win play. Yeah, I think he's a great bet to find the end zone tonight. I do anticipate the Steelers winning the game as well. The 19.5 attempts is a large number. I like that one a little bit less, but I do anticipate him getting at least 20. I just don't have a huge edge on the play. But yeah, I lean over on both, and I especially like the Harris TD plus Steelers win prop.
Okay. I believe that Najee Harris has gone over that total 3 straight games, if my research is correct. 3 straight games. All right, we're at 375 likes. I need 25 more likes to give away 4 year-long subs. By the way, we had a chat question for you, Alex. Would you play 4.5 solo tackles and assists for TJ Watt?
I'd skip 4.5. I've seen it at 3.5. I'd play 3.5 solo tackles and assists. I'd skip it at 4.5 though.
Okay, very good.
So
all
2.5 solo tackles. Just to clarify, 2.5 solo tackles is the play. That's on DraftKings. I didn't see it on other books. If you do have 3.5 solo tackles plus assists, that's okay too.
Okay, very good. Mike, I want to come to you because I feel like you've kind of been left out a little bit tonight because you didn't have official play. Chat question. Justin Fields, his over rushing total 37.5, and his rush attempts is 7.5. Do you like either one of those? He ran for 100 yards last week on 10 carries.
I don't expect him to rush for 100 yards again. I think that was kind of an outlier game. He obviously has the upside to get there, but I personally don't see it against this defense. I think they're going to sell out and do everything they possibly can to make him throw the football. The only way I would play it, frankly, is if you're on the Steelers -7. If you think that they're going to be 2 touchdowns ahead and we get legitimate garbage time and not just competitive game garbage time, if you think you get absolute legitimate garbage time, I think that he'll have the ability to pick it up later in this game. Just a classic case of he's athletic enough that we're not betting unders on it, but we don't have the edge required to bet the over on it.
Okay, very good. See you. Let me come to you. And then, AB, I'm coming to you next. Big Ben last week threw for 266 yards, and they only scored 15 points. Tonight, his number is 248.5 at -106. Would you like that?
Not really. Not super interested in that. I don't think he's going to need to throw that much. And honestly, he's not really looking downfield. And this kind of goes to what Alex was saying, to the Chase Claypools of the world. He's really taking a lot of that underneath stuff, and the rest is going to Najee. So I don't, especially with the defense potentially scoring here and making and creating some short fields, I don't like it. I would take the under there, actually. Instead of laying off, I actually like the under a little bit.
Okay, very good. AB, over 0.5 an interception for Big Ben. Don't have the juice. I apologize.
Yeah, the juice is actually going to be positive. I was looking at it earlier. Big Ben doesn't really throw picks. Yeah, I think it's going to be like plus 120, maybe a little bit more depending on your book. He just doesn't throw interceptions, and it goes to this team that they run the ball, and he, essentially – passes to tight ends and wide receivers 6 yards and in. It's very, very difficult. You almost have to tip a ball at the line. Something kind of fluky generally has to happen. I don't like the play all that much because you just don't get that many opportunities.
Okay, very good. Continue to pound that like button. I'm looking over here, too. I got several more that I want to get to. All right, Alex, let me come to you for the next one. We talked about the Big Ben total, but Fields is only at 182.5 -118. We talked about how much better he is playing. Do we think he can get to $1.83?
The line's efficient. It's right around where it should be, in my opinion. He's been hovering around that 180 number. This isn't a great matchup for him either. Schematically, I think the Steelers present a lot of problems for rookie quarterbacks. They're just going to produce some exotic looks that he hasn't seen, is not used to seeing. I don't particularly like it. If anything, I'd be looking to fade it personally. Definitely do not like the over on that at all.
All right, very good. Let's go to Mikey in the chat. Najee Harris, total yards, over 114.5. The juice at -115. That from Timothy.
I lean under on it as well. I think that it's such a big number. He obviously has the ability to do it. It requires a ton of usage, but it is still a huge number against a fairly decent defense in a game that we know is going to be slow. We know the pace of play in this game will be slow. The Bears team runs very, very few plays. They're going to milk the clock, especially if they think that it can help them be competitive in the game. It's one of the easiest way, if you're having moderate level of success, the easiest way to stay in the game is to control the football. It's not a great strategy to win the game overall, but just to stay in it and give them a chance. And I think that, frankly, that's what they'll do. So I'm not playing the over on it. I would look at some of his reception total number. I would look at some of those alternative props. I'd maybe look to play some of these numbers live. So if you look at it and see if he has a huge run early in the first quarter or really struggled in the first quarter, you have opportunities to bet over or under on the live numbers. But at the number where it's at, I truly think it's efficient. Like, yes, he can have 100 yards on the ground easily, but it's, again, keep in mind that defense is going to create short fields tonight, in my opinion. So, which is why we don't love the Big Ben props either.
All right, very good. Najee Harris is very popular tonight in the chat. See, let me come to you. His reception prop is over 4.5 plus 123.
Wow. It's a stay away from me. And I know that's kind of a boring answer, but I think 4.5 is kind of the right number. I think I would take the plus money probably. If I felt like I had to bet that, I would take the plus money and take the over, but I'm just not in love with it. He does get a ton of targets though. So I'm leaning over for sure.
Okay. Alex, last week, Freiermuth, I believe his yardage total was like 22, 23, and this week it's all the way close to 36. I know we like the Freiermuth catch prop. What about the yardage prop?
Yeah, I'd lean over on Freiermuth as well. He looks better and better each and every week. He reminds me a ton of Heath Miller. I know I keep saying that, but yeah, he just looks like a really natural fit in this Pittsburgh offense. He definitely has Big Ben's trust. They really enjoy playing together. We've seen his role expand every week. His usage has expanded every week, kind of similar to Dan Arnold, for instance, in Jacksonville, the tight end there. So, yeah, I've really liked what I've seen. Zero chance I'm playing any unders of his. I like him to go over on both his catches and yards.
Okay. AB, let me go over to you. Darrell Mooney, last week he led the Bears in receiving, 33 catches on the year, 409 yards, one score. Tonight his yardage total is 43.5 minus 114.
What is his injury status? He's banged up, right?
He's questionable coming in, but I think he's active.
Yeah.
He has a groin injury, but he's had that most of the season so far.
Okay. Yeah. What was the numbers again, Coach? Sorry.
Over 43.5 minus 114.
Yeah, if I'm going to play anything, I'm going to play the yardage, just because you could get that in one or two, and not have to mess with the receptions there. Everyone else, I would be all over the receptions, as M Squared was talking about. On this one, I think I might roll with the yardage, just because of that, because you just don't know, and I don't want to play with fire there.
I think there's ghosts. There's ghosts in Alex's house right now. Sia, what do you got, pal?
No, I was just going to say, just to recall, I had that was one of my leans, Darnell Mooney over 41.5. But to your point about 43.5, where I'm looking, it's already up to 42.5. So just in the last 10 minutes, it's gone up. So it might be 43.5 in some places as well. I still like it too, just like.
And that's my apologies. Sometimes I miss because I'm trying to find so many things. Sometimes I don't always hear. So my apologies for that. Last week, 6 catches, 64 yards for the Bears. Just something to look at. Let's go back to Najee Harris, and let's go to you, Alex. His yardage total on the ground is 80.5 tonight, minus 140. That's the only number I don't think we've touched yet.
Yeah, I'd lean over on that. Certainly. If he's getting 20 carries, he's very likely to eclipse that number. He looks better and better every week. The Steelers line is actually playing better and better. Without Khalil Mack on the field, I definitely think that gives him a slight bump in matchup. So, yeah, I would lean over on it. And, yeah, not as an official play, but I definitely like it.
All right. Jimmy in the chat. I'll get right to you, AB. Jimmy in the chat says, too many cappers not needed. You know what's not needed, Jimmy? You in the chat. So text that one more time and see how long you last there. All right, AB, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually wanted to address something in the chat. We always joke about, kicker props, things like that. And look, I'm not going to select any because I don't want to support unemployment. I want these guys to be working tomorrow. But I will say this. If you ever wanted a game where you wanted to mess around with some field goal props, this might be your game to do it. Low scoring, two offenses that probably are going to have issues getting through all the way down to the red zone. And if you combine both of these teams, they've attempted 24 field goals this season. They've made 23 of them. In fact, Chicago is 11 for 11 this year, and Pittsburgh is 12 of 13. So if you want to mess with field goal kickers, tonight might be your night.
But let me ask you this, AB, because the prop for the Bears, they would have to count them 4 to hit the over. It's 3.5. 3.5 tonight is the number for the Bears.
So I'll say that. That's a big number. You're right.
Field goals?
That's got to be
It's
total.
1.5. It's 1.5.
Are you sure? I have 3.5 on. Maybe that's an alternative.
Either way. Let me say this. Either way, good looking out because you'll see weird numbers like this. Take a look. If you're not seeing something that you like in terms of field goals made, take a look at kickers' total points. You could even find some books have total kicking points, etc. So I'm just saying, if you don't normally look at those in your book, do it tonight because it might be your play. I'm not on any of them, but I'm just saying the game script might play out to your favor tonight.
All right, my book just went down to 2.5 plus 331. The under is juiced to 512.
That might be total field goals.
Yeah, total field goals made.
Okay.
Chicago Bears.
Bears.
Just Bears.
Okay.
Oh, just Bears?
Yeah, Steelers.
Yeah, it's plus
total field
330 though. It's basically alternate line. So on DraftKings, Santos is over 1.5 at plus 125. So you're getting plus money on the over 1.5.
And the 3.5 that I saw, that was total field goals between the two teams. My apologies. So it's 3.5 is the total between the two teams. 1.5 in the first half, plus 123. All right, so I got that cleared up. My apologies on that. I saw that 3.5. I was like, oh, my goodness, I'm all over the Bears. I have to kick 4 there. All right, so we're about 5 minutes from the top of the hour. Remember, in about 5 minutes, we'll do our donkey parlay, courtesy of M Squared. And also, who will be the newest member into the Van Jefferson Memorial First Touchdown of the Game Club? That's coming up in about 5 minutes. So any more props that you guys like, get them into the chat right now because I got 4 winners. Count them, 4 winners right now of a year-long membership to SportsLine. Here they are. At 2 Chads, at DWash_412, at For Sure Bud, and at Wilt_Logan. The jeweler will reach out to you on social media. Let's get up to 600. We have way more than that watching live right now. Let's get to 600 so I can give away 6 more year-long memberships to SportsLine. Let's keep that chat humming because you guys are so active tonight, and we absolutely love it. Bill Rad said there. Oh, I just lost him. You got so many people in here. I like these fun bets too, guys. Anybody want to touch this one? Najee or Deontay to score first touchdown boosted to plus 260, and we're going to do that coming up in about 5 to 8 minutes. Is there, and ours has to be over plus 1,000. Would we like one of those anytime touchdowns? Najee, Deontay, anybody want to take the anytime touchdowns? Who we think might score tonight?
Dude, that's pretty good. Plus 260 of those two guys. That's not bad. I mean, that if you think Pittsburgh's going to score first, that's a pretty good bet there. To throw a little sprinkle, that's pretty good.
A little bit. What do you got, Alex?
I just wanted to bring up Deontay Johnson because I do like his receiving prop. I believe the number is down to around 70.5, Coach. Is that what you're seeing? But yeah, I like Deontay Johnson in this game. The Bears have been an absolute funnel to opposing number 1 wide receivers. They have given up more production to opposing number 1 wide receivers than any defense in football. So yeah, I do have been extremely encouraged by Deontay Johnson's usage. He is an absolute target hog. I believe he's seen double-digit targets in all but 1 game this season. He is amongst the league leaders in targets per game. I don't expect that to change. He's the perfect fit for this offense. I talked about Ben's inability to throw the ball downfield accurately. He's not even taking shots downfield. This Pittsburgh offense is predicated on quick, short throws, which is the type of routes that Deontay runs. So I really like Deontay Johnson tonight. I'm expecting him to again see double-digit targets, and I think over 70.5 is a solid bet.
Okay, it's up to 73.5 now at plus 102.
Or I'd still lean over on it.
Still lean over on. All right.
And in some places it's 71.5. Some official books it's 71.5. I agree. Either way, I think that's a good play.
And his catch total is 6.5, about as high as we ever see it. 6.5, 7.5 is about as high as we ever see it. Plus 111 on the over, minus 139 on the under.
Yeah, he's been eclipsing this number. He's getting 12 to 14 targets per game. I prefer the yardage here. I also wanted to mention a prop I forgot to mention that I like as well. That is his longest, Deontay Johnson's longest reception, over 22.5 yards. He has cleared this in, I want to say, either 7 of 8 games or 6 of 7 games this season. And yeah, he is breaking off a big run in every single game, or excuse me, a big catch in every single game. And the way that Chicago's defense just funnels all this production to the opposing number 1 wide receivers, I like that prop a lot as well. Over 22.5, longest reception for Deontay Johnson.
All right, very good. Joseph in the chat says, Coach always gives away free memberships. Some of us are already subscribers. Show us some love. Hey, don't worry. Don't worry. We're trying to get some T-shirts, some pint glasses, but we have to get them in stock, and then we can give them out. We can't give out what we don't have. All right? Can't give out what we don't have, but don't worry, Joseph. We're going to take care of everybody. Don't worry about it. All right, we only have a couple minutes till the top of the hour. So many new people coming in right now. We'll see if any more props. Johnson, longest reception, over 22.5. We just hit on that. So I think we've hit on almost every single one that people asked for. All right, very good. God, we got through a lot tonight. Very, very good. All right, here we go. So we're just at the top of the hour. So here's what we're going to do. Somebody in the chat asked about parlays. We always do a donkey parlay. It's just a lot of fun. Mike gives away. It's usually 6 or 7 ways. And I believe, Mikey, we need to do it right here and right now. And I've got my pen out ready to go. What do you got for us tonight?
All right, Coach. It's going to be 7.
Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. That's awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so it's 7 legs tonight. We've got the Chicago Bears plus 14.5, Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5, over 30.5, under 50.5, Najee Harris over 14.5 receiving yards, Pat Freiermuth over 19.5 receiving yards, and then Deontay Johnson 5+ receptions. Put them all together, comes back plus 475 here.
All right, for those of you watching on our YouTube channel, by the way, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button right now for me. But you're seeing on the screen the full layout, our brand new graphics on the show, which I absolutely love. There you see it right there. Soak it all in. Get it all in. We're going to give you plenty of time at the end of the show. We usually go off about 10 minutes early, so you can get all of these plays in. But there is your donkey parlay of the night, giving you a nice little return of plus 475. If you've never played the donkey parlay, it is so much fun. And it proves my point that not every bet has to be serious. Have some fun. Play a fun bet once in a while. It doesn't have to be so serious. All right, now, it's top of the hour. So many of you that watch the show every single time, you know what time it is. Week number 1, because I got both guys here on the show. We just ask it a throwaway. Who do you like scoring the first touchdown of the game? My man Mikey goes, I like Van Jefferson plus 4,000. Boom, he bangs it. Very next night, the best-looking guy on the show, see ya. Says, I don't know, Coach. I like Tyson Williams at plus 1,200, plus 1,300. Bang, he bangs it again. Then he becomes only the 2-time champ. But there's 3 of us on this show right now, actually 4 if you count the jeweler, that are so fired up to join the club. But you got to pick the right guy. So, Mikey, you know that you get to go first every single time. This is your segment. Who are you picking tonight?
All right. Yeah, my choice was selected earlier, so my secondary choice is going to be Zach Gentry for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. With Eric Ebron out, he saw a significant role change. It is obviously only a 1-game sample so far. However, I liked what I saw. He played 45 snaps and saw 14% of the targets. That's compared to 58 and 20% to Pat Freiermuth. He's on the field a lot. I got this number at plus 3,700. It's down to plus 2,900 now. I think it should be all the way down to plus 2,000. Rare time where you see me taking the favorite, but this is a spot where I do think that they score the first touchdown in this game. Love the number, love the opportunity for Zach Gentry.
All right, Zach Gentry is pick number 1. All right, I told you he's a 2-time champ, so he has earned the right to go next. Sia, what do you got?
Yeah, so there's such a concentration of targets. There's not like the wide array of targets where we can really go off the board and pick the Zach Gentrys of the world. I'm glad Mike found one that kind of had some fun odds. I'm going to take some sleepy odds, some odds that aren't very fun, but I do think he's one of 3 guys that's going to get the first touchdown on the team that's going to score the first touchdown. And I believe I share this with one other person on the show, and that's Pat Freiermuth at 12-1 plus 1,200. Again, he's starting to really see the targets. And beyond Deontay Johnson, even the last couple games, he's actually getting more targets than Najee Harris, who has been a target monster. So I think there's a lot of faith, especially near the goal line, in Pat Freiermuth, and that's the guy I'm going with today.
All right, very good. Pat Freiermuth for Mr. Sia. All right, AB, talk to me.
Yeah, I'll give you a little stat here. The Chicago Bears have scored twice as many points in the first quarter than the Pittsburgh Steelers have. Just putting that one out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go Chicago here. I'm going tight end Cole Kmet. He does get targets down in the red zone. He doesn't always catch them. It's been a little frustrating with that guy, but I think in a game like this, Justin Fields, if he gets down, inside the 10, inside the 5, they're going to look to run or they're going to look to hit a tight end, something safe, something to get points on the board. Really quickly, while we're talking about points, in the second quarter, both of these teams have combined for 85 points. So just putting that out there, the second quarter has been lightning scoring for both of these guys this year.
Brendan in the chat said no touchdown scored might not be a bad bet after this weekend. If you would have bet it in the Jags game, it was like plus 10,000. It was like crazy.
Wow.
Who would ever bet that with a Josh Allen game? But that's $100. You would have won $10,000 if you would have bet it yesterday. Crazy. All right, Alex, I know the hunger burns inside of you like nobody I've ever seen. Nobody wants to join the club more than you. Talk to me.
I'm ready to put that bag back on my head while I give out this pick, Coach. Can I just also point out McCole Pruitt came very close to scoring that first touchdown last night. Oh, my God, he was open in the end zone. How did he not get it? Okay, so I'm going with AB here. I also like Cole Kmet. I saw that's at plus 2,200. Kmet is an every down player in this Pittsburgh offense. He's had at least 3 catches in 3 straight games, 21 targets over his last 4 games, 18% target share. That's 9th amongst tight ends, 12th in air yards, 12th in targets at tight end, 10th in snaps at tight end, ranks 3rd on the Bears in targets, yards, and receptions. He's coming off a season high 63 snaps. Pittsburgh's middle of the pack at covering tight ends. He's yet to score a touchdown this season. He's averaging 5.8 targets in losses for Chicago. I just think this is a good spot for him to score his first touchdown, and I love how much he is on the field.
All right. I like a lot of those. I'm not going to play a Pittsburgh prop because I have to feed into I can't root for a Pittsburgh touchdown first. Now, I'm not going to need a throw. I'm not even going to need a running back. My guy tonight, he ran for 100 yards last week, and I just foresee 1st and goal from the 8. Everybody's running routes, and wide open up the middle, Mr. Justin Fields. Right into the end zone at plus 1,100. It's just north of where I need to be. I feel like tonight is the night that Justin Fields breaks out, and he does it just to ruin Sia's day. Just to ruin Sia's day. All right, Jeweler, you're the last one, but you were the first one to get your pick in today. What do you say, boss? Who do you got?
I'm going with Mr. Freiermuth. We're going to stick with the tight end theme, which is something that I've been doing on this show. So theoretically, it should hit one day, right? And then hopefully I'll be in the club before you, Coach, and before you, Alex. So I'll have something to hold for your guys' head. I saw someone in the chat mention Ben Roethlisberger's arm is the equivalent of a dog puking on a couch, which hey, let's look for the big tight end to get the ball to. He's coming off a season high snap count. That's a phrase I learned from Alex Selesnik just a second ago right there. Last game. So let's go with Freiermuth.
I'm going to puke on the couch if I don't hit this prop tonight, or if I don't hit this first touchdown prop. So I'll give you guys a live feed of that.
We'll have to find something for you to chug if I hit this before you do.
Oh, that would be amazing. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. All right, Alex has agreed to. All right, here's what we're going to do. I just thought of a bet. So whoever joins the club first, the other one has to chug a beer live on the show. between you two. Are you down?
Deal.
All right. We
I'm
already
down.
got you drunk one time this week.
I want all the smoke.
He wants all the smoke, Alex says. He wants all the smoke. By the way, for those of you who are new to the show, we've actually had a dog puke on a couch live on the show. That actually happened. It really, really did. In the background, as somebody was giving out picks, which made it even funnier. And the dog's name was Snoopy, which made it even funnier. The whole damn thing was funny. All right, it is 7 after the hour. You guys are always this game starts in 8 minutes, so very quickly we got to go through our official play so they can get them in. Then we're going to say goodbye, and everybody's going to settle in. So, see ya. Go ahead. You're up first.
Yeah, official play is Steelers -7. I think they're on the right trajectory, and I think the Bears are probably going in the opposite direction. 7's a big number, but I still like it. And I do have leans with Darnell Mooney over 41.5 receiving yards and Pat Freiermuth over 3.5 catches.
Very good. All right, I know Mikey does not have an official play, so let's go to AB.
Yes, sir. We're going to go Justin Fields over 17.5 completions tonight at +105. We're also going to go total game sacks over 5.5 at +110, and that counts for both teams.
All right, Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, so I've got one official play, one official lean. My official play is Chase Claypool under 4.5 receptions. He's only done this in 2 of 7 games this season. Ben Roethlisberger has completed only 25% of his pass attempts of 20 yards or more. That's the second lowest rate in the league. Claypool is running all of his routes downfield. They just are unable to connect on anything. The other play I have as a lean is TJ Watt over 2.5 solo tackles. I want to emphasize that as solo tackles. He's hit this in 6 straight games. This number just frankly should have been set at 3.5. He's got 10 solo tackles over his last 2 games. And yeah, I think this is a really solid lean.
All right. Candy in the chat said, I just assumed you all did drink on the show. LOL. Well, a lot of people assume that we drink on the show. All right, so you see the recap there. By the way, Mad Max gave out on Twitter today that Cole Kmet, longest reception over 13.5 yards. It's juiced to 130 in official play on the show. All right, so those are our official plays. We like to wrap things up, and I give my guys 15 to 20 seconds of what they're most looking forward to in the game tonight as fans. See ya. You're up first.
I'm looking forward to seeing how good this Pittsburgh Steelers team is. I know they're not elite, but I think we've got to start giving some credit to Mike Tomlin as an elite coach, because this is kind of, it feels like spare parts with Juju being injured and Ben Roethlisberger being a shell of himself and the defense losing a lot of pieces last season, especially in the secondary. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Steelers have.
You can take Mike Tomlin. I'll take Matt Nagy all day. All day. All right, Alex, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm looking forward to seeing Najee Harris. I know I don't have a prop on him, but I absolutely love the way this guy plays football. To me, he's like not very far off. He's the closest thing to Derrick Henry now that we don't have access to Derrick Henry anymore. The guy is huge. He's fast. He's explosive. You just don't want to tackle him. Defenders just bounce off of him. I love watching him play.
AB, if you're awake, you can go next. It looks like you're asleep.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was reading something right there. Look, which is scary, me reading anything.
Yeah,
No.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Look, I think you guys were correct earlier in talking about Justin Fields and what this game means. M Squared and Sia were both talking about, doesn't even really have to win. Just make it a competitive game. I'm fascinated to see, kind of his matriculation, so to say. And do we see a big jump with him? Because he could be a great talent in the league. I'm just ready to see when it happens.
All right, very good. Mikey, OG, bring us home.
Same thing. I'm looking forward to see what Justin Fields can do. I think this Pittsburgh defense is going to make him throw the football, so I want to see how he progresses there. Looking forward to the donkey hitting. I just want to give a shout out to the chat. They mentioned that Gentry prop at plus 5,000 over on MGM. I was able to get that one in as well. So now I have 2 plays on it at plus 5,000 and plus 3,700 personally. So it's going to be a nice little night if that one hits.
Oh, I hope for you it does not hit. All right, because I need Justin Fields. All right, we'll end on a funny note. Andrew in the chat says, AB can read, ? Must be big pictures he is looking at.
That's good.
I love everybody in the chat. Keep it coming. You make our day. You make our night. We couldn't do this show without you, and we love all the stuff you say, except for a couple of you, and you know who you are. All right. We're up against it. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. You know what time it is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Monday Night Football tickets straight to the pay window. Don't forget Tuesday, our Week 10. Wow, Week 10 mega preview at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And Wednesday, our college football preview at 3 p.m. Eastern time as we continue to grind, and we grind for you. Tell all your friends the only sports betting brand you even need to worry about right here. We like to call it The Early Edge. Good luck.